Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's featured Reddit stories are from PettyRevenge. Story 1 today is by Gordon Flash 291. Loud neighbors blasted trash music every night, so I introduced their speakers to my garden sprinklers. I recently got new neighbors, and by neighbors I mean walking chaos with a subwoofer. From day one, they've been obnoxiously loud. We're talking trashy rap music blasting from massive outdoor speakers almost every night until 10 or 11 p.m. Not just loud, but full of certain types of lyrics yelled at full volume while they do karaoke in their backyard. Plus, they also got kids who scream all day long too. Not regular play screams, but those types of screams that rattle your nerves after 10 minutes. I tried to be reasonable when I went over there and asked if they could just keep it down at 10 p.m., but those arrogants didn't even respond. They just looked at each other, laughed, and started speaking in their own language. After 1 week of this circus, I had enough. Our backyards are divided by a fence, and their precious speakers are always left outside with a plastic bin covering it at night, very close to the fence. So 2 nights ago, I adjusted the nozzles of one of my garden sprinklers and set 2 aimed directly at their speakers, and another was set to sweep 180 degrees just in case anyone questioned it. So during the night, I knocked the plastic off with a stick and the sprinklers ran for a while, and the speakers didn't survive. They confronted me the next day through their backyard, all pissed and running their mouths. I'm not an immigrant, but my wife's family is French, so I learned it over time. So I started speaking in French to my wife and laughing at the same time. God knows how freaking awesome that felt. I'm not usually a revengeful person, but I'll never let myself be stepped on again. I used to take a lot of BS from everyone. That's kind of what I am known for, but I feel like this whole experience changed me in a good way. I can't stand loud music, especially if it has really offensive lyrics in it. Even if the people are blasting it in their own area, if people around them can hear it, it's just so inconsiderate. So I'm all for this kind of petty revenge. But depending on the value of the speakers, you could actually get in trouble with the police for this. So you had better be careful. They 100% deserve to have their speakers ruined because you'd already gone over there and tried to ask them to turn it down and they just laughed at you. After that, you should have called an official who would come over and handle it. I'm sure whatever town or city or whatever you live in has rules where you have to keep it down past certain hours of night, or even not past certain hours. Most people are entitled to some sort of peace and quiet in their home, and if they don't have it, they can raise a complaint with officials. Maybe not the police, but a peace officer would have handled this sort of thing. With this sort of petty revenge, they might just go out and buy another speaker and blast the loud music even louder. And then, if you were to destroy their speakers again, you could be in trouble with the police, so be careful. Down in the comments was a tiny exchange that I don't know why I wasn't aware of this. I've seen it in movies before, but I didn't actually know that it was really a thing. First, by Bender Mount McSzechuan. If they set up cameras at you, do not shine a laser pointer at it. It destroys the camera, and they'll have to replace it. Again, be careful about destroying people's property. You can get in trouble for that. Underneath that by Gordon Flash 291. Don't worry, I'm not the type of person who'd ruin other people's stuff. Gordon Flash is the OP, just in case you didn't recognize the name. So yeah, they are definitely the kind of person who'd ruin other people's stuff. And further down underneath that by Worried Bowels. How strong does a laser need to be? By Ken Fix 1. Cat chaser toy type will work. Maybe try that. And underneath that by Taco Cookie Time. No, it won't. You need a class 4 500 megawatt power output or higher laser. Green and blue also work far better than red due to the way digital camera sensors are built. I mess with lasers a lot. For someone like me, I would read this and then I would be like, well, I have to go out and try it myself, otherwise I don't know if this is 100% true. Maybe some of you out there who are listeners have done this before and destroyed cameras with laser pointers. Our next story is by Train Dodger 2. I stole a car from a car thief. I woke up one night to the sound of my 95 Honda Civic trying to start. It wouldn't start because the thief hadn't found the kill switch. There's a lot of car theft in my city, and those old Hondas are easy targets, so I'm glad I had that installed. I ran outside in my underwear and just shouted from the porch as deep and loud as I could. "Hey, what the F are you doing?" And then 2 people ran out of the car and down the street. The shouting woke up my roommates, and they came downstairs to see what was up. We peeked around, but the thieves had run off. Then a few minutes later, I hear the engine trying to start again. So I shout for my roommates to come back, and we all ran outside in our underwear and pajamas. One guy had a skateboard, one guy grabbed a bat. So we're all just standing on the porch, trying not to get physical, just shouting at them. The one thief yells back from another Honda parked just a few feet away from mine. "No, this is my car. We're just trying to get away. It's my car." I don't know what came over me, but I shouted back, "No, that's my car now. That's mine." And they were just like, okay, man, and ran off. I couldn't believe that worked, but I think it only worked because of my other 3 roommates with their underwear and skateboard and bat. I called the police right away and stayed outside watching for them, but they didn't come back. The police checked their car, or my new car, and found out it was stolen, of course. So the owner got his car back, I guess. And I'm so glad I had that kill switch. Is this something that people can actually have installed in their car, something to prevent people from stealing it? Has anybody had any experience with something like that? This is the first I've heard of it, and that's a fantastic idea. I have to share a tiny exchange underneath. First by McMemma. "Captain Underwear, out righting wrongs and bringing peace to the city, one recovered Honda at a time. Legend." The second person that replies to the first comment is definitely a dad because they've got dad jokes going on. By Free Beer. Performing his civic duty, no less. Our last story today is by I Am Jack's Altered Ego. I think that might be a Fight Club reference. To the Dunkin employee in my neighborhood. You seriously made my morning. This is a repost from a local subreddit. I was trying to take advantage of the holiday weekend and get a bunch of house chores done. Mid-morning comes around and I'm getting hungry, so I decide to grab me and my girl some Dunkin for breakfast. I place an order in the app to pick it up inside the store when I get there, and it's understandably slammed. I mean, it's 10 a.m. on a holiday Sunday, so I definitely get it. I'm waiting by myself for a few minutes when this little older lady that was clearly ready to go to a pool party comes barging into the store. And when I say barging in, I mean this chick pushes the doors as hard as she can to see how far back they go while simultaneously shouting, "My name's Kara and I have a to-go order. Is it ready?" It was wild. No one was at the counter to see this, or so I thought, because all the employees were literally running around working their butts off. Kara sees this, clears her throat, and waits maybe a solid 30 more seconds before going, "Excuse me, I placed a to-go order." A few other customers trickle in, which one of the employees sees and comes to the counter. Kara was hovering over it and immediately repeats herself. The guy gets her name and everyone else's, which by now there must have been 5 other customers. Now, I'm a quiet, non-confrontational dude, so I just think, F my life, I'm gonna wait here another 10 minutes before I get my order. The employee barely turns around when Kara's friend barges in as well and shouts in an annoyed tone, "What is taking so long?" Kara seems to think that verbally antagonizing the staff would help and whines, "No idea. Why would they even have a to-go option on their app if we have to wait so long?" It wasn't even 2 minutes for all this to transpire. I was shook. It was like the lion, the witch, and the audacity of this B word. That phrase is actually really good if you say if you don't say B word and you say the proper term that I'm reading in front of me. The lion, the witch, and the audacity of this. And since I was not in the mood to stir the pot, I silently took my L and just hoped that this would all be over soon. And it was, with a dash of revenge that was so petty that I couldn't believe I'd witnessed it in real life. It was something that you come up with later that day in the shower when you're trying to conceive all the different ways you really should have or wanted to respond when strangers act like jerks in front of your very eyes. But no, this suave MFer reacted like it wasn't his first rodeo. Because it clearly was not. Maybe a minute goes by and the same employee has a bunch of takeout bags ready. He proceeds to call out my name first, then everyone else's in order except Kara's. I get my bag and drink and hold the door for Tom the fireman, who cheerfully bellows, "Thank you," and the 4 other customers whose names I forgot. If you guessed that by now Kara was livid and started to yell, you'd be right. She was screaming, asking where her food was, and the guy puts a cherry on top by saying with a smirk, "Yes, ma'am, yours is coming up hot and ready next." It was glorious. I laughed as I walked to my car and drove home. So whoever you are, if you're reading this, thank you for making my morning. I'll be sure to tip you personally next time I see you. You absolutely need somebody like this handling the orders in the front, because you can tell who the jerks are. Somebody barges in, smashing the door open, and starts yelling, "Where's their order?" instead of seeing, maybe, is there a line? Should I wait? I don't care if you pre-ordered it. I don't care if you're short on time. You still have to be polite with dealing with people, because if you act like this woman does here and her friend, you ruin people's day, and often they don't forget something like this. They are very likely to remember you, but for all the wrong reasons. Our stories for today have come to a close. Until we meet again, have a special day.